Hello, everybody. I'm excited for office hours today. This is me just double checking that we're good with sound. So give me just a sec for the live stream to catch up. Come on, live stream. I think it's only 15 seconds behind, but it seems to be taking longer than usual. There we go. Hello, everybody. Okay, it is working. Good. All right, so office hours is your chance to ask whatever questions that you have, technical normally, and I will answer. Oh, I think I am also on Zoom, and Taryn was here until just a second ago. Okay, now Zoom is working. Zoom's working now. Taryn, sorry. There we go. So this is the Office Hours channel. You can post questions in here, and I will do my best to answer those questions, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so I think last time, yeah, we got about this far. I think Taryn is back. Taryn, you being here in person on the Zoom, you get priority. What questions do you have for me?
Brother, I'm always in the Zoom.
Yeah,
I
you
love
are. Thank
football.
you.
How was first of all, how was React Rally? You have a good time?
Yeah, it was super. I had a ton of fun. That conference is always a favorite because they just do such a great job. They really care about the people there, and then of course I always love bringing people to Utah. So
It was Park City, right?
yeah. In fact, the workshop was in the same venue as Epic Web, so it's very
Nice,
familiar.
nice. It's a good segue into my question.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so I had a chat with my SDM yesterday, just talking about like, promotions and that kind of stuff. And an avenue that kind of came up was influence, right? As you go up the ladder, it's influence across the org and that kind of stuff. And an idea that we kind of landed on is kind of like doing my own like epic conf, but not really like conference at my org.
Hmm.
So I don't, and if this is a better suited question for like the Call Kent podcast, let me know, and then I could ask there and not use office hour time. But like when you were planning, Epic Conf, I know you worked with some people to help you set up everything,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm interested in knowing like, did you start with like a vision, and then how did you know who to reach out to, that kind of stuff? Because I kind of want to do something similar now at my place of work, mostly because it'll be a lot of fun just to have people up there presenting about the web and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the secondary thing is helping me get a promotion.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So are you hoping to like get external sponsors, or is your company just going to
I
sponsor?
think
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to do it internally,
yeah,
just because you know how enterprises are, right? It's
yeah.
very,
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. And do you have like do you need a venue, or will you just be able to do it at
I
the
can do it in the office. We have a pretty good setup, and I need it to be because my company's remote friendly. Like we don't even it's all remote basically.
hmm.
So it needs to be like a remote friendly kind of event, if that makes sense.
Yeah, does your company have AV already for that?
Yeah, they do all like they have quarterly meetings, and it's all like broadcasted across the country kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
to our
Okay.
offices.
Yeah, and how big of a space is it? Like, I guess it's big enough for, different question. Do you plan on inviting external people, or is it just internal
I need to
speakers
talk
and
to
things?
legal about that, but I think our company is big enough that I can keep it internal. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, I want to know like internally what's going on with my company.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think it'll be a good like proving ground to see if I actually enjoy setting up conferences and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the other reason why I want to do
Yeah, super.
it.
So attendees will be internal, speakers will also be internal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
at least initially.
Yeah. So when I was at PayPal, we did this, and I should say Jamin Ferguson did this. He was the primary organizer. I think he had some people helping him out, but um, yeah, it was you just come up with a schedule, and you have these slots. Make sure you have extended breaks so that people have time to chat and like let the things that they've been learning kind of percolate. And another question you need to ask is whether you want to do multi-track or single track. And that's going to depend on the venue and the attendees, like whether if everybody's just JavaScript devs, then you could probably get away with single track. But if you've got a lot of back-end folks there who are doing Java or something, then they probably don't care about what the
Very
JavaScript
true.
folks are saying. So yeah, it kind of depends on both the composition of the people who are going to be there as well as the space that you have. For if and also kind of your goals too. So I find that it's a lot easier to build a community of people when they have shared interests and things are a single track sort of thing. Um, but yeah, that, like I said, can be kind of difficult if there are people who like if it's single track, then people don't really get to choose a talk, and if it's something that they're not interested in, then they like will just check out. Which like I have mixed feelings about that. Like maybe people should expand their horizons a little bit. But yeah. Anyway, for myself, I really prefer single track conferences that are little more niche and focused on things that are like the Venn diagram of the attendees' interests.
Okay.
Which typically means that the conferences I prefer are more niche, and the attendees know that it's more niche. And so, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with multi-track too. I go to plenty of multi-track conferences. So yeah, and then as far as like the people you reach out to, you're gonna want to come up with a schedule. Are you gonna do multiple days? Is this just one day? Are you gonna do workshops, or is it all just talks? Are you gonna do lightning talks? The one of the nice things about lightning talks is that it gives you the ability to invite more people to speak than you normally would. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and since this is at your company and your company is going to be sponsoring it, you don't have to worry about the cost of flying extra speakers in and stuff too. So that's nice. Another thing that would probably be a good idea is to have backup speakers.
Okay, I didn't even think about that. Okay.
just just in case like somebody can't make it work. But the tricky thing with being a backup speaker is you're like, well, am I going to prepare this thing and then not deliver it? So that's why my backup speakers always had their talks recorded the day before, in case they didn't end up needing to speak. We at least had the video of that. And that's another thing to consider. Like, if you're going to be live streaming it, you probably may as well just record it, and then you can chop it up into videos that people can use. Um, and yeah, let's see what else.
That was one of the questions I want to ask you too, because like I remember like during the pandemic, and I don't want to eat up too much time because I feel bad
It's
hogging the
okay.
time here. But during the pandemic, I can't remember. I think it was ReactConf where all the talks were pre-recorded, and
Hmm.
then the presenters were just like in Discord responding to questions. How did you find that experience? Do you think that was like a good way to run a remote conference?
So I've never run a remote conference before. Um, I understand the constraints that you're under with so many people being remote. Like you kind of have to make that work. But um, I and there are things that you can do. You can use like Gather Town or something to like so people are walking around together, or there are other there's spatial chat. I think it's kind of a similar thing. Just to kind of give an imaginary semblance of being together. It I don't know. Uh, you do your best, I guess. I wouldn't dedicate an enormous amount of effort into trying to make virtual seem like an in-person thing.
Okay.
You want to have a place for people to gather, to chat. So you probably have a Slack channel or something for people to talk and whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't. It always felt weird at in-person events to like I had one in-person event where after my talk they took me over to a room with a laptop and I like answered questions for people who were on remote, and that was like really cool for them, I think. But it was kind of just kind of well, it wasn't just them, it was also like anybody else who wanted to talk. So it was like a bunch of people and then a laptop somebody was holding, it was just really odd. Um, and so yeah, if you're gonna do some remote stuff, then make that be like its own thing. So if you're gonna have somebody do a remote talk or something, then you can show them up on the screen and stuff. But like any interaction where some people are in person and some people are remote, like you've experienced this, I'm sure, where you're in a meeting and some people are remote, and it's just if anybody's going to be remote, everybody needs to be remote. And so if you're going to mix those, that's going to be a challenge. So
Okay.
that doesn't mean like ignore the remote people. That's like the opposite of what I'm trying to say. It just means that if you're going to do something for remote people, don't also offer that same thing to the in-person people, if that makes
Okay.
sense, because
That
that'll
totally
just
makes sense.
it'll mess things up.
Of course.
Um, anyway, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I can't think of anything else. Do you have any other specific questions?
No, it says
You'll want to think about like food and stuff too. So
yeah, of course.
I'm sure your company has contracts with catering and stuff, but yeah.
No, I think that's good. The multi-track versus single track thing. That's a good idea. I'm thinking single track and day one, maybe just the JS people, and then day two can be like the back-endy Java folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you kind of pick your poison,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Um, cool. Yeah, and that was it for me, man. Thanks.
Sure. Good luck, dude.
Thanks, man.
All right, I've got some comments on YouTube with some questions and stuff. Happy to answer those, but you will get the lowest priority. Nothing against you or anything. It's against YouTube. But I typically answer questions on in Zoom first, then I go into Discord. I got another question here from Mohammed in Zoom. So I'll answer this first. Your number is visible on the internet somewhere. Oh, cool. Oh, oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
actually just sent
There
you
it
the link.
is.
Prep.
Call me
Yes.
up. This is actually a Google Voice number,
No,
so
I
I can.
never tried calling you. I do have it like with me, but I never tried calling you
Yeah,
just out of,
yeah.
privacy.
Thanks for letting me
So
know. And
thank you.
I guess I probably shouldn't pulled it up, but it's a Google Voice number, so it's really easy for me to block people that are calling me that I don't want to call me. So don't call me without
That's okay.
permission to the
No, I would
general
never.
world.
I have it for like a year. I actually forgot to tell you, so that's the case. So I
Yeah.
just got some time today to hop on to office hours and talk a bit.
Yeah.
So I have one question.
Hmm.
Certainly I'm trying to I'm working on some pipeline, but not in GitHub, like not GitHub Actions, like Bitbucket pipelines, and I'm trying to deploy code on two different places. Like on Dev branch, I'm trying to deploy on a separate EC2 instance using the AWS code deploy. And also I'm trying to deploy on some other EC2 using another EC2 instance on my master branch or main branch. But the
Mm-hmm.
issue I'm running into is I have an app spec file which actually is needed, and I want a singular file to target on the post location. And in that file, you have to tell that where you need to copy your code. You have to tell a source and a destination. So in my case, I cannot, hard code a destination, because if I'm doing it for one instance, I can easily tell the username of, like, it's like ABC, like /home/ABC, my product name or something,
Mm-hmm.
and that can copy my files to it. So I just wanted to ask if have you like encountered a similar problem, and do you have any idea? I've tried exporting like environment variables from GitHub pipelines, but it's not visible in my AppSpec file or any script that they are running like in further.
Yeah, so I'm not going to be very helpful here. Sorry. I haven't used Bitbucket CI. Haven't even used Bitbucket for a very long time, and I also don't use AWS and EC2 and things either. So, um, my like it sounds like you have a static config file and you need like
Mhm.
some dynamic capabilities to that. And my first thought would be to have a script that runs before anything else that generates that static config file. But I don't know whether you have the ability to do that or not. But that's what I would start like looking into first.
All right, all right.
Sorry.
I'm still looking. No, 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 no worries, no worries. I've learned a lot from you. It doesn't matter. Like if you can provide a solution on one thing, it doesn't matter.
Cool.
So one more thing that I've actually gone through your blog that you've written, like why you use Remix and why and Lee also have, read the Leo blog, and where he has written why he's using Next. But currently, I don't, I'm very inclined towards the new router that,
Mm.
and the loader in action and everything. And I feel like Remix is kind of, very similar to what the React router is doing, because they've been built by the same team. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy for me to understand what's going on.
Mm.
But as compared to Next, I feel like I have to go through a lot of things, like for me. So
Mm.
I'm trying to also wanted to kickstart a website. So uh, I was thinking that I wanted to do it in Remix, just play it around, because I've played around with the new router, so I really like it,
Mm-hmm.
and all the stuff that it gives. So my thing is that if I want to develop something like brand new, like a greenfield project, what should be the things that I should keep in mind, or there are some things that I should unlearn before jumping into, or I should just skip, like, or I should not focus on this,
Mm-hmm.
like some key pointers while working in Remix.
Yeah, yeah. So first, I want to comment on how you said that Remix is very similar to React Router. Remix is actually React Router. They are the same thing. Remix is the only thing that is different between them is the plugin for Vite that Remix offers, so that you can do that. It manages server rendering and file-based routing and stuff. But other than that, Remix is just a package that re-exports everything from React Router, which is cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And actually, I'll just stick in a little bit more context on that before I answer your actual question. With this and this, yeah, I think those two will be useful context for you as you're thinking about Remix and React Router and stuff. It's kind of cool. So yeah, as far as resources and what to think about, so I really like the docs from Remix. They're great. Take a look at the Getting Started guide. Do probably both of these, the quick start and the tutorial as well. And then and that will kind of help you get an idea of how Remix works. If you want to dive in the deep end and you're like, I'm ready to build an application, then check out the Epic Stack. This is a project starter that I created. This is how I build applications. If I needed to build an app today, I would do it this way. I would say npx create Epic app at latest, and then I would go off in that direction. So yeah, the Epic Stack is the way I build apps. That would be a good way to start. The only reason I hesitate to recommend this to you right from the get-go is because it's a full-featured application that has a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot involved with this. And so you may find it to be a bit much for what you're trying to do. So like, it's got authentication and all the testing stuff and database and deployment and everything. It's all set up. But a lot of people find that to be like a lot, and they get kind of lost in it. And so for part of that, I recommend that you go through Epic Web, because in Epic Web, we build the Epic Stack. So starting from the very beginning and go all the way through almost everything that the Epic Stack is, we build in this series of workshops. And you can find actually the workshops themselves are and the content for them is freely available. You can download it, run it locally, run through the exercises, and like, this is basically the docs for the Epic Stack. Is each one of these workshops that you can find. I should probably make it a little bit more prominent on the Epic Stack docs, to be honest. But yeah, it's all freely available. And then if you want to have the videos, then you have to have a license to Epic Web. But yeah, anyway, that hopefully answers your question. Did you have any
Yes.
follow-ups?
Yes. Oh, got it. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, let's get over to Discord and see where we're at here. Yeah, let's see. I think PT might be. Have you gone through the testing workshop? Oh yeah, have I gone through? So I wouldn't say that I've gone through it because I didn't do the exercises. I did maybe the first couple exercises. But yeah, this is the workshop, I think. PJ, and actually I should reply answering this now. This is the workshop that I think they're talking about. And I have gone through like the first couple exercises to make sure that things looked good. And then I didn't actually work on any of the other exercises after that. But yeah, I think it is great. I don't, he has taught me a couple of things. As he's been asking for feedback on different things. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that that was a thing you could do. But all of this is based on top of the testing JavaScript. So this first workshop is the fundamentals of testing in JavaScript in Epic workshop form. And so, yeah, his next workshop is the mocking workshop, mocking Epic, or I think it was mocking techniques. Yeah, here it is. So this is the next workshop that's coming soon. And that is this. So like Artem is just going through testing JavaScript and redoing all of this stuff, modernizing it and adding the Epic workshop on top of it. And so, yes, I've learned a couple of things, but like most of this stuff is based on my material already. So not a ton. So cool. Manuel asked a question to the community in our help channel, and I said I would answer. So answering this now, I have created a Remix project with no template, and it comes with a default root layout export. So here, this is actually relatively new part of Remix. In fact, I don't think that the Epic stack has even been updated to do this yet. I just haven't gotten around to it. Nobody else has either. So if I go through improving error handling with the document component content. So yeah, let's take a look at that. Yeah, here it is. Foundations. Okay, there it is. Goes all the rest of these. And I think this is probably in the routing. No, it's probably this one, maybe. Here. I think improve error handling with the document component content. Where is that? I don't think that's how I named it in the workshop. Improve error handling. Nope. Nope. Okay, I'm not sure exactly which exercise you're talking about. I do remember doing this. Just can't. Oh, error handling. Here it is. Improve error handling. Probably one of these. Yeah, there it is. Document component. Ha. Okay, it's the last one. Is it the root error boundary? Is that it's the, yeah. Okay, great. We're on the same page here. This is why I don't recommend anybody go through this at all. Like don't look at epicweb.dev. Once you've bought it, you run it locally. In fact, like on every single one of these, you're going to run into this that says it's not a video course. Don't go through it here. Go away. Go to the local workshop app, and you'll be in a much better place. But anyway, yeah, so we're talking about the root error boundary, adding a document component. If we look at the solution here, here we are, and look at our app and Epic, or no, the root right here. Then the solution has a document component, which we use in the error boundary, and the app function. So that's what we're talking about here. So the question is, if we go further in the workshop, we pass props like the env and theme. Is there a way to pass these props to the default layout component that Remix creates? So yeah, so this is the way that we did things before we had the layout component, is we'd make a document component, and then we'd render it in the app and in the error boundary, so that when there is an error like this, and do I have to refresh this, I guess, maybe? There we go. Then we get to have like some UI that can render, that keeps all of the stuff the document renders, which is our HTML and our head and our meta and our links and all of that stuff. So it can be formatted nicely. Without the document component, that didn't happen. So yeah, so the question is, in the future, we do add some props to the document for the theme and different things like that. And the question is, how do we do the same thing with this new layout component, layout that is provided by Remix? And I do not know. Yeah, you can't use loader data, which, yeah, honestly, that kind of stinks, because I do want to be able to control like a class name on the HTML for my light mode and dark mode, or even on the body. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't spent the time to learn how the layout component works enough to add that. Let's see. It looks like you can use the use route loader data. Very defensive. Yep, that makes sense. And use route error. Yep, that all makes sense. So yeah, you can do this. So any props that you would pass, you can derive from this. So this is what you do. This is the answer. There you go. Use route loader data root, that gets you your data. And then use route error, that's your error. And now you know whether we're in an error situation or not. Yeah, this is the answer. Hope that answers your question. Just answered this on the live stream. Let me grab that. I forgot to post that to our Discord when I started streaming. So the answer is to use route loader data root instead of props. Yep, super. Okay, that was fun. Let's come back here then and get to the next one. And let me answering this now on the live stream. And there it is. Okay, currently working on this PR. Awesome. Experiencing weird behavior. The common or the import of a common JS package seems to be handled differently whether the server script is executed by Node or TSX. Doesn't surprise me. We're doing like weird things in the JavaScript world. I use debugger to look into the process, and it looks like the script executed by TSX added some stuff after a dynamic import call and causing all that. Kind of lost how to look at it. I suppose it's doing some transpiling under the hood and probably reading tsconfig to do that. Can't really figure it out. Okay, so this is to add a util for adding remix headers. Okay. I guess I'm kind of confused why. Oh, there's the dog. So what I'm going to need more details on what the specific problem is. Okay, where is the CJS file that we're importing? CJS. I'm not sure how this is, what is the problem? I don't know. I don't understand the problem. Sorry. I don't understand the problem with the PR. Could you elaborate on what's going wrong? Yeah, like I don't see any errors. It looks like the build is running fine. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what the problem is here. Sorry. Okay, coming back to Office Hours. Oh yeah, and let me stick the link for the live stream right here. Okay, coming up to the next question. Yep, this one. I'm thinking of migrating multiple spas to Remix. These are consumed via iPad shortcuts to the spas. Is there a way to save an app name query param /cookie that keeps iPad users on auth plus app domain routes for those iPad users, but have all the routes if accessing via Office. I don't understand the question. Yeah, and I don't, yeah. Sorry. I'm afraid I don't understand the question. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to even articulate what I don't understand about the question. Is there a way to save an app name? I don't know what app name. So query param / cookie. Those are two very different things, and what do they have to do with an app name? I don't know. Keeps iPad users on auth app domain routes. I mean, like, you'd need some way to identify that the user is on an iPad, and then in your loader, you'd check if they are on the iPad, then like kick them out or something. I don't know. Okay, I have a question about Epic Stacks Dockerfile. I see here it uses npm install instead of npm CI. Isn't that what npm CI is for? Yeah, I think so. So this is part of the problem. Here, and actually, let me say I'm answering this. Answering this now. Part of the problem with having been working in this industry for so long is that I get used to doing things a certain way, and when new things show up, if I don't dedicate some time into learning those new ways to do things, then I'm just doing the way we used to do it. I remember when npm CI came out, I was like, that's interesting, and I think I tried it, and it just didn't work the way I expected it to, and so I stopped using it. So if anybody wants to make a PR to change this to npm CI and explain to me how it changes, then let me know. I think it's supposed to just not update the package lock or something, but I think it does some more things. I don't know. I should probably investigate. But yeah, give me a reason that we should use npm CI other than that's what npm CI is for, because that's not enough for me. I need to understand, like, how does it help us? And if there's a good reason to switch this to npm CI, then I'm happy to do it. Yep. Cool. Hope that answers that question. Got another question here from Tomer. I'm using use layout effects, autogrow text area module, and I actually don't see any different. Oh yeah, okay. Let's get over to that. And actually, I'm going to say right here, answering this now. Okay, so this is auto-growing text area from the use layout effect from React Router or Epic React v1. That's the advanced React hooks netlify.app. And here we are with our auto-scrolling text area. So this is the way that it works now. And like, I don't know, I can tell, like, oh, right, yeah, that's right. Okay. So, as we add a message, the way that this used to work is that the message would get added, and then you would scroll down, and then the final, it would wait until, or it would scroll down at the same time the message gets added. And what the question asker is saying is, it actually looks like they are behaving the same. So what is use layout effect doing for me now? I think actually that the React team kind of smoothed over some of the differences, possibly. But let me throttle the CPU. Whoa, we can do a 20x slowdown now? Holy smokes. I guess they're like, some of y'all have a really fast computer. We need you to be able to test on a very slow one. I'm going to go on a 6x slowdown to start. So here I'm going to add a message. Yeah, that's interesting. I am not seeing a difference either. I don't think I need to record. So like what I tried to do in this example was to make something happen really slow during the rendering. I think this is the production build, so I won't be able to find it, but something really slow needs to happen during the rendering so that we can see that space of time between when React updates the DOM and we do the scrolling. But it looks like that has somehow been smoothed over. I'm not sure. That's kind of interesting. But I'll tell you what, in Epic React v2, the Advanced React APIs also has something on use effect, layout computation, or use layout effect. And this one, I believe, is definitely obvious. I just have to remind myself what, oh yeah, the tooltip. Okay, so we've got this tooltip, and you'll notice that it, like, once it shows up in the DOM, it has to do a measurement to know whether to send it above or below. So if I have this right here, now the tooltip needs to go below instead of above. And so, so I add an arbitrary slowdown to make that more obvious of what's going on. And here in the solution, come on, solution. There we go. Now we don't have this problem at all. It shows up right where it's supposed to because we're using the use layout effect. And so what that is doing for us is it's able to render to the DOM. We immediately do a calculation and then move it in the DOM. Whereas before, with just regular use effects, we render it to the DOM, we let the browser do something, and then we come back to move it. And so that's why we see that that little jump. And it is a little arbitrary. Like I add a little bit of a slowdown to simulate that, so you don't have to like slow it down in your performance tab. But anyway, you can take a look at this exercise, and hopefully that will, here actually we'll go there. I'll give you that. And hopefully this answers that for you. We'll stick that right here. Okay, cool. Next one. I can't. Trying to get a more solid mental model in my head about working with dates, trying to fix an issue in an app that does medical reports. Every once in a while, we'll get that dreaded flash of content change on a date displayed. Ooh, I hate that. Yep, that's the worst. Am I doomed because time zone wasn't collected from the user at the beginning? Or perhaps I could use the doctor's zip code and postal code to determine the time zone, but that is a whole can of worms. Maybe this solution, remix SSR dates from Jacob. This is probably great. Hard to imagine, and sometimes medical reports are only served over API, so not done via browser at all. So the ones that are served over the API, oh, I see what you mean. So like you might say it's August 16th, but it was actually August 17th or something, but you don't know what the time zone is, so you just have to go with UTC. Yeah, for the PDF that you're generating, yeah, you're probably just gonna have to, well, like you just go with UTC, or you'll have to dive into this can of worms for that. For like the flash of incorrect date, however, then, or the unstyled content or flash of incorrect content, however you want to say that, yes, this is a way to do it. Let's see if he recommends. No, this probably was written before I created a even better solution, and that is client hints. So client hints is a really nice and easy way to know what the user's time zone is on the server side, and so you can use that to determine what how to render the dates on the server, so that when it gets to the client, it'll be the same. And so, yeah, that I recommend looking into this. I'll stick that right here. Oh, actually, hold it. Jacob responded. Let's take a look at what Jacob says. Formatting the date server side such that you're returning a string from the loader, easy as fix. Yes, 100%. solves the content flash, and then upgrading that to use client time zone is a nice progressive enhancement. Yes. The approach, client hints, yep, exactly that. Yep, Jacob's right. Thanks, Jacob. We'll just do here, all to keep a record of what's happening. Answered this just now. Jacob, Paris is right. Okay, super. Hopefully that is helpful. As far as the PDF, that's going to be tricky until you start collecting the user's time zones and stuff. Or you just go with UTC and just maybe that's okay. All right, let's see. We've got another question here. Hello, Kent. I'm wondering how you would tackle anonymous authentication in Remix. I'm using Firebase specifically, but have a really hacky user flow going. So if you're using Firebase, they have anonymous authentication. Firebase, I used it years ago with Remix and found out very quickly that they were built for client-side authentication and not server-side stuff. And that made it kind of hacky is a good way to describe it. If Firebase is a requirement, then I'm afraid I can't really help you much because I don't know Firebase. But if you're okay not using Firebase, then what I would say is you set a cookie on the user's browser, and now you can keep track of them, and that's it. That's the answer. I don't know. If that doesn't quite answer your question, then you can go to auth.epicweb.dev. This goes a lot deeper into some of the stuff, but it'll talk about how to set the cookies and stuff. And this up until login and or yeah, I think even password management, we don't even like require people to log in and stuff. So like the first couple exercises should be able to help you a fair bit. But yeah, hopefully that is helpful to you in your journey. Good luck. Just answered this. Okay, super. And now I can get to the YouTube. Taryn is typing in here. That's cool if you want to keep. Either way, Taryn, you want to just ask real quick?
Yeah. I had a question about nonces. Nonce. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Nonce.
Yeah. In the Epic stack, there's a nonce provider, but it doesn't do anything. So I'm curious.
Yeah, I can show you what that's doing. Yeah. So let me scooch this down here. Let's go to the probably the first entry into this is on the server. So here we have the nonces created by this little middleware. So the CSP nonce is random bytes hex string, and then we set that up as part of our helmet so that the nonce is used for our script source and script source adder. And then we also use that down in here inside of our get load context so we can provide that to our Remix app. Okay, so then in our app, let's see, we'll entry server, we're bringing in the nonce provider, and we render the Remix server component with that nonce provider and that value, which is the nonce. So that's the one that was generated. On the client, you'll notice we're not doing anything like that with the Remix browser, and that's because we don't have a way to get the nonce into the browser. Well, technically we could, and in fact, we could just have like the loader right here get the nonce from the context and provide that to the client side, and that would technically work. But it turns out that the when we hydrate, the nonces have all been removed. And this is a browser security feature because browser extensions may not be able to execute JavaScript in the context of your app, but they can execute JavaScript in the context of your DOM. And so if the nonces were included in the DOM, then the extension could just grab the nonce from another script and then create their own script, insert it into the DOM with the nonce, and then now they can execute privileged JavaScript on your page. And so you'll notice here, let's look at my site. Let's go nonce. So you can see the nonce right there, and every time I refresh, this nonce will be different. That's kind of the point. But you see it in the source, but if you were to look it up in the DOM, that nonce is gone. So let's go to like all these links, or rather the scripts. Yeah, that script had a nonce. Oh yeah, this one. This one had a nonce, but you can't see it. It's been removed by the browser. There's no API for this or anything. It's just the way that it works. And so that is why on the client side, we're not rendering the nonce provider, but we are consuming it. Let's see, where's our nonce? Yeah, where's that nonce coming from? Yeah, use nonce from our nonce provider. If we go into the utils, yeah, here we are. Nonce provider right here. We have the nonce context default to an empty string, so that when we are using the nonce, we're going on the server side, when we're server rendering this stuff, we're going to get that nonce because on the server side in the entry root, we're rendering the remix stuff in the context of the nonce provider, and we give that an actual value. But on the client side, we render no context provider, and we just end up with this default of an empty string.
And one last question. It's kind of a follow-up. Cover this in the authentication piece of Epic Web. I don't remember learning about nonces.
Yeah, so this would be, I think this might be in the form, or it could be in the forms thing. I was thinking with one of these, but probably not. I don't know that I cover the nonce.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that I cover the nonce. If I were to do, eventually I plan on doing a security workshop, and that would be the place where I'd talk about the nonce and the content security policy and everything.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yep. Okie doke. So let's take a look at any other questions that have hopped in. Yeah, no questions have hopped in here. So, I'm 3 minutes over, but I started late. So I'll answer these couple of questions on YouTube. So one question, the most recent question is, how do we get access to the Discord? You can go to kentcdodds.com/office hours and you'll see all the information how to do that. You join the Epic Web Discord community and then jump into the Office Hours channel. And this is the Zoom link also if you want to just jump on the Zoom. And also I should mention too, if you're in the middle of the week and you're like, I really want to ask Kent this question, you could post it in the Discord and I'll answer it during my next office hours. Or you can go to calls on my website and you can record a question right in the browser and ask me your question and I will do my best to answer. And that will turn into a podcast episode. So that's fun. Okay. So the questions that we got on YouTube, what is the best vanilla React folder structure you recommend? I don't recommend any folder structure. Don't have any structure. I don't know. You move files around until it feels good. Don't make your file system go too deep. You can look at the Epic stack if you want to see what I do there. So yeah, check out the Epic stack. This is what I recommend. Do whatever the Epic stack does. Okay, Mike is asking, when does the Epic React version 2 release? So that will be in just over a month. We have a date for it. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want to be able to back out if we need to. But yes, we're coming very close to that, and it's going to be so cool. I'm super jazzed about it. So yeah, look forward to Epic React version 2 coming very soon. And I'm going to be doing pushing out a ton of content leading up to it. In fact, I just this morning took the React Fundamentals workshop and I split it into 2. So now we have Get Started with React, which is just the first 4 exercises of what used to be the Fundamentals workshop. And here's the Fundamentals now is missing those first 4 exercises. And the reason I'm doing this is because this is going to be free. It's going to have all the videos and everything totally free. And so you can go through this one and then continue with the React Fundamentals workshop. And it's going to be sweet. So yeah, look forward to that. That's going to be awesome. And yeah, I think you're gonna love this. Okay, so, and I just gave the React Server Components workshop yesterday and in person to people at React Rally, and it was awesome. Went super well. Happy with how things are going there. All right, I think that is everything. Got through all the questions people had, and so I'm gonna take off. One other thing, actually, on the Epic React V2, I'm gonna be doing another round of the expert interviews. So if you go to epicreact.dev right now, you'll see we have all these awesome people that I interviewed. This was like 4 years ago now. They're still very relevant and interesting interviews. You should still go through those. But I'm going to be doing a whole bunch. I have like 13 scheduled. How many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13. Yeah, that's interesting. Might end up with the same number. But yeah, these are going to be really awesome interviews. I'm looking forward to these, so you can look forward to them too. All right, thanks everybody. If you do have any questions, feel free to hit me up on the Call Kent podcast. I should be doing office hours next week. In fact, I think I've got my schedule over here, and yeah, it's not canceled on my calendar, so it should be happening. So see you all next week.